And what a guest we have. I'll just give you a bit of context to who we've got coming up right now. At 17 years of age, she debuted for the Blackburn Sevens. Look, she's been the best player in the world 2 times over. She's also been the best try scorer in the world on a couple of occasions too. She's won gold at the World Championship. She's won gold at the Commonwealth Games and also gold there in Tokyo. And we were all there on board watching that. And you know what? We all know of the saying, speed kills. And now, if that is the case, she would be a serial killer on the field. Michaela, Blyde, thank you so much for joining us, man.
No, thank you very much for having me, Monty. I'm excited for this chat. I love talking code, so let's see what we can get into, eh?
Actually, and just on that, I think everyone loves talking to you girls about it because not only do you perform on the field, but you perform off the field. You perform for the media. And I don't mean perform. I mean you're real, you're authentic, you're open. You guys are just absolute role models. Is that something that you try and do as teammates or as a team? Because it sure does happen.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just part of the job as being a high-performance athlete representing your country. Being a proud Kiwi, we obviously have to hold and share this legacy and the mana of this black jersey because proud Kiwis love their rugby. And so being a rugby player ourselves, we have to make sure that we uphold that, I guess, that reputation of being a Blackburn Sevens player. So that means being respectful. That means smiling off the field. The culture that you see on camera, that is 100% what we like. We love each other loads. We have each other's back all the time. And we want to be able to, I guess, express to everyone in this country that women can be full-time rugby players and be professional and have a job of playing rugby for their country with their last name on their back. Like, we have to really push and emphasize that a lot. We love it. We absolutely love it. And we love our job. And we showed that on the field because we smile a lot, even though we're probably deep down hurting, low-key for a little bit, kind of in that dark place. But we genuinely love our job. And we just want to, I guess, show the world what we can do and express to those in New Zealand that this job is one of the best in the world.
Well, you continually show us and you show everyone, and you're pioneers for the young girls coming through, and they aspire to be like you. I do challenge you on that, though, saying that's what you've got to do as a high-performance professional, because I see a lot of cliches. I see a lot of people not have time for the media, a lot of people not have time for people like us who are trying to get their message across. But that's another thing. We've got short space of time, and I want to talk to you about it because this is a quote that I came across, and it was about you every day visualizing. And this was prior to you going to the Olympics. I see myself running with the team onto the field at the Olympics for the final. Then the final whistle blows and we're cheering and crying because we've won the gold medal. Now, you said that you say that every day is all part of your visualization. Was it every day? And wow, that's impressive. For 4 years?
Yeah, I have always been one of those kids who would visualize myself doing crazy things. That's kind of how I motivated myself, how I built confidence in my sport, outside of rugby when I did athletics. Soccer, touch, you name it. Like, I would visualize myself winning. I'd visualize myself scoring tries, making tackles. And yeah, this year I came across some meditation, manifestation, and I've really enjoyed it. It was just something a little bit different, a bit more of an add-on to my visualization. And I just would say to myself all these affirmations that I wanted to become a reality. So one of them was obviously winning a gold medal at the Olympic Games. But to be honest, I've been saying that to myself since I was 5 years old. I was that crazy little kid at primary school that said to themselves, I'm going to go to the Olympic Games and I'm going to win a gold medal. Initially, it was for athletics. I got a little bit older and that started to become a little bit unrealistic. And then football was kind of that next dream. Again, the love and passion for that disappeared. And then sevens came along and I grabbed a hold of that opportunity and I haven't looked back. So I am that crazy person that visualizes those things all the time. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but I've visualized many things of myself on the rugby field, and majority of those things have come true. Whether it was chasing someone down or scoring a long range try or winning a game, majority of the things that I have visualized or manifested has come true.
Can we talk about that a little bit more, just that whole package in and around the mental side of things, because it's fascinating. It's fascinating because when I was growing up a very long time ago, when I had hair and everything else, visualization was part of it, right? But now you're talking about a bigger, broader set of skills that you all put together. How often do you use these, building up into a big event like the Olympics or on the World Seven Series? And how holistic is it in terms of what do you do? Is it visualization plus this, plus that?
I guess it came along when I obviously first made the Black Ferns 7 squad back in 2012. I was 16. I was still at high school. Mental health was not really a priority in my life. It was more so just being the best at what I was doing, which was playing rugby or playing any sport in that case. So I never really focused on my mentality. I didn't really focus on what I need to do upstairs to make sure that I was a good athlete. I just went for runs and I did my training and did my stretches. So then when I met our psychiatrists in the 7 squad, so initially it was David Galbraith, our one now is Dom, and we just had to explore the different ways that, I guess, calm the nerves, get you in the zone, put you in a place where you're ready to be beast. And visualization was just one of those things that I was just a strong believer in, one that worked for me really well. And so if it works, if it's a routine that works, I just didn't break it. And so, yeah, I'm one of those ones that would literally use it every single day, visualizing myself doing crazy things on the rugby field. And a lot of other girls have their own individual mental process that they use. Meditation is definitely one of them. Journal writing is another. You name it. It's an endless list of things that can help, but my one is definitely visualization, and it's definitely something that I'm going to continue using for my whole rugby career because it works amazingly. And I'm also one of those people that's a visual person in front of me, so yeah. I love watching myself being able to do the things I need to do. I'm still learning to be able to watch myself, I guess, make mistakes and accept them. I'm one of those ones that avoid the mistakes and just go, no, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Watch the good stuff. I'm still learning about that and accepting that I can make mistakes. But yeah, rewatching what I do on the field and then implementing that onto the field is something that I'm a massive believer in. And yeah, it just works. So I'm going to continue it.
16 years of age, it all started, 25 years old now, and you're talking like a veteran and someone who's got experience of a 35-year-old, which is amazing to see. Okay, we spoke about that quote that you visualized, you try to manifest it. When you actually won the gold at Tokyo, and we're going to get into detail about all the build-ups to it, what was that actual feeling like? Can you remember it? Was the moment vivid in your mind? And wow, when it happened for real?
Yeah, I look back now and, the first thing that I think still is pride. I'm a very proud Kiwi, and I'm super, super proud to say that I was a part of the squad that, won a gold medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo. But the first thing I thought about as well was my family. Like the amount of support that they've given me in this dream for the last 20 years has been immense. And the dream was always there for me to go to the Olympic Games and compete for my country. I've had my ups and downs, but to say that I've achieved something that I have dreamt of doing for a very, very long time does definitely make me feel really proud. At the same time, I still look at my medal and I'm like, is that really an Olympic gold medal? Like, it's not fully sunken in yet, but I think it's just mainly because obviously we went from, a massive high to then MIQ to then level 4 lockdown. So we haven't actually been able to celebrate it the way that past Olympic Games has been like. There's been no parades. We had a haka at the airport from one of the Bay of Plenty primary schools, and that was extremely special. But then we all kind of ditched the airport really fast to get to our family and partners. So we didn't really get to celebrate as a team, but I'm sure once we're able to do that, we'll definitely be able to look back and be like, yeah, actually, it's probably a very, very special moment. But at the moment, we haven't had that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's for sure. Hopefully get that chance.
So many people love that journey and watched and just so inspired by you. Now, pressure for a lot of people, they find it hard and they crumble, but we also understand pressure also makes diamonds. And when you think about what you guys were able to do was amazing, but the pressure that you put on yourself internally, and I think if you talk to any sort of a mental skills coach, they probably didn't want you to have that sort of pressure, but it was a pressure that you guys put on yourselves that you were not going to settle for anything less than a gold medal. How did you get the right balance of aiming high, striving for the best, but not overdoing it or making it be detrimental to you?
Yeah, I guess obviously being a New Zealand team, no matter what sport, you don't train for silver, you don't train for bronze, and you definitely don't train for the Olympic Games just to participate. You train to win. And we've always put that pressure on ourselves. And I guess having that reputation of being a New Zealand rugby team, you look at all the New Zealand teams that we've had in the past, and they've been extremely successful, from the All Blacks to the Black Ferns to Super Rugby teams to under-20s. You know, we've got a very, very high success rate of rugby teams in New Zealand, and we just wanted to be a part of that. And I guess obviously we've got that external pressure as well of putting, you know, everyone around us that sees New Zealand and go, okay, well, they're the best in the world because they're New Zealand. Well, yeah, we enjoy that pressure. We'd rather get looked at like that rather than a team of, oh, they're all right, you know, they'll participate, they'll do okay. But I guess for us mentally, when you take it back a little bit, we've got the right people around us that help us, I guess, figure out that balance of having that pressure on us and how we deal with it. You know, a perfect example is Niall Williams. She uses this quote all the time. It's a privileged pressure, you know, to be able to turn up to work every day and train in an incredible environment around amazing people, be able to get paid to travel the world and play a sport that we all love for a country that we're really proud of. You know, a lot of people have extremely much worse pressure in their life. You know, they struggle to find a job. They're struggling to put food on the table or to have a roof over their head. We don't have those issues. So we have to be extremely grateful of what we got. And we've got a lot of people around us in our environment that help us think like that, including our coaches. So Bunce is a massive one of that. He's a massive advocate of putting that pressure into golden moments. Same with our psychiatrist, able to help us switch that mindset around to, yeah, it's a little bit of pressure, but let's change that into moments that we can use to, I guess, express our strengths and play some really good rugby. So it is pressure, but it's privileged pressure that we enjoy and we're very grateful to have.
Yeah, got to embrace that and run towards it, I guess. But I think from a business point of view, or even a team point of view, watching your team, you're probably the benchmark in terms of how a team should be performing and what a culture should look like, and leadership. I just want to sort of delve a little bit deeper into the leadership in your group and what that looks like. Alan Bunting is a big part of it. I saw Ruben Tui interview him the other day. Obviously amazing. You talk about golden moments. There's him, there's the leadership group. Are you part of that leadership group? Because say if you're not, I'm like, wow, because the leadership that you seem to have with what you're saying is pretty impressive. What's the structure like?
Yeah, we obviously do have a leadership group. I'm not formally part of that, but I'm definitely one that looks at myself as a leader because, you know, I've been a part of the environment since day one. You get the younger girls that are coming through who, I guess, look back and remind me of themselves. You know, some of them are from small regions who would consider themselves big fish in a small pond. And I was definitely one of those ones from Taranaki. Very easily recognisable in Taranaki, you know, achievement-wise. I've done a lot of things there, but then coming into this environment of being in the New Zealand Women's Sevens environment, completely different. I went from being up here in the Naki to down here. And so we get a lot of those younger girls coming through. And so I definitely am one of those ones that I look to help them out, make sure that they're comfortable and confident, and to make sure that we're approachable as well, because I can guarantee that any 17, 18-year-old coming into our environment would be very intimidating. So making sure that they are okay and that they're not alone and they're definitely, you know, no lower or higher than anyone else. And then our leadership group are incredible representatives of that. They make sure that everyone is on the same page. And although they may be the leadership group, everyone is on the same page and everyone is equal. We always make sure that we push that moral in our environment, because just because they have this name next to their actual name or their you know, this reputation of being a leader doesn't mean that they're any higher than any of us. They're just the ones that bring the tough messages across. They have the hard conversations with the coaches, and then those coaches relay the messages to them, which then relay it to the rest of our crew. So yeah, it's definitely been a massive development for myself. After Rio Olympics, I was still very shy, very much so an introvert, and then having to sort of blossom into be this rugby player that I wanted to be 5 years down the track. I still believe I've got much more growth to do. But yeah, leadership-wise, I'm definitely one of the ones that am growing in that environment. And I would like to think that in the future, being a part of the leadership group would be a great challenge for me to be able to have those hard conversations and as well as grow my leadership personally as well, and be able to have those tough messages with the coaches, because that's definitely a challenge in itself, having those conversations with the coaches. But yeah, our leadership group are amazing, coaches are amazing, our whole management are amazing, to be honest.
I think it's pretty amazing. You're a testament to the leadership in the group when you are on the outside of the leadership group, but you still feel the responsibility, or not even the responsibility, you just want to help the other people without even having that next to your name, which is absolutely amazing. Now, when I look at your team, I've seen it for a number of years, not just the one that won the gold medal at the games. But I want to hear from you. What do you think makes it a special team? Because it is a special team in a number of different ways.
Absolutely. I look back at Rio 2016, and although a lot of people on the outside probably saw that as this tight-knit, well-environment team, it definitely didn't feel like that on the inside. I guess we focused so much on the on-field performance that we just forgot about off-field, and that bit us in the butt a little bit in Rio. So then after that, when Alan Bunting was appointed as our head coach, he instantly just focused on culture. He implemented Māori values. Our morals were completely changed. Leadership group was really important as well, having a strong leadership group that can represent all 21 of us. That was important for him as well. And then on top of that, having a management crew that can work well together. So from head coach to manager to physio to trainer, that was really important as well, to have a good cohesion amongst them as well. Plus the connection with management and players, because if you don't have that connection either, then it can be unbalanced. There can be some mixed messages. And so that was really important as well. So for 5 years, although we performed really well on the field, we always made sure that we went back to our off-field culture, our vision and everything like that. Obviously, the big goal was a gold at Tokyo, but there were all these little things that we had to focus on first. So World Series tournaments, Com Games and World Cup in 2018, qualifying for the Olympics as well. So there's all of those ones as well that was really important, not just actually winning a gold medal at the Olympic Games. And I think Bunce was just incredible when it came to that process. He had his ups and downs as a coach, personally off the field, but he was always there. He was always someone that looked at us as humans first before athletes. I think that's extremely important, because we are human more so than we are athletes. So I guess putting all of that into the big picture as well, to making sure that all of our personalities work together, making sure that our team was really connected and being able to go through all of the tough, hard parts of preparing for an Olympic Games. And I think Bunce did that really, really well.
When you talk about Bunce, Alan Bunting, and you saying him, recognising you guys as people before athletes, and if you look back at other coaches now within hindsight, do you think that's the way forward? Because when I think about other coaches out there like Wayne Bennett and so on, that seems to be the key driving factor. I mean, is that a huge difference? Because for a lot of us at home or at work, got leadership groups, and that maybe that's something for us to look at and see about those relationships being at a different level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you think about the fact that we've been, it sounds weird, but we've been human for way longer than we've been athletes. Being an athlete is just a very, very, very small part of our life. Before that, we're either daughters, sisters, aunties, cousins, mums for a couple of the girls in our team. That comes first before rugby. If we haven't got that part of our life right, how are we meant to turn up into this high performance environment and put our best foot forward and be the athletes that we want to be when there's all this going on in the background? So Bunce was he would always push for us to make sure that all of the home stuff, whānau, friends, that comes first before rugby, because that's far more important. Rugby's not forever. We have to remember that. There's going to come to a point where we're going to retire from rugby. We're not going to look at rugby the same way that we do now, and we're going to have to move on to something else. And so it's important that we make sure that we get that life balance right. So connecting with our family and friends, because that's far more important, to then come into our rugby environment and be the best version of ourselves. Because one of our values is actually obviously team first. But you can't put the team first if you haven't put yourself first. If you haven't focused on who you are first as an individual, how are you meant to turn up and be the best version of yourself and the team? Because that's just putting the team in a very vulnerable position. So that's something that I'm definitely a strong believer in as well, is making sure that I put myself and my I guess, my important rocks of my life first before I can tune up into the environment and be able to train and play the way I want to train and play. All the girls do the same thing as well. So that's been a massive learning curve, because before 2016 it wasn't very important, but after Rio we realised that is far more important than rugby itself.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I just want to touch on another relationship or another team too, because it's probably one of the high performers teams out there in terms of living under the same roof. And that's you and Michael Brake, who was part of the men's 8 who won the gold as well. Now, when you talk about balance and talking about yourself, but also your teammate, I mean, you know, building up to the Olympics, you both got huge ambitions. You both got training. How do you look after yourself, but also tie into that relationship and give your partner the care he needs? Because, you know, there's professions out there or professional couples that they need to support each other, but at the same time push for what they want.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Meeting someone who was preparing for the Olympic Games was definitely eye-opening, because I thought our life was a little bit crazy with rugby, but rowing is just 10 million times harder. The training regime that they have is just borderline ridiculous compared to us. But I guess it's just being able to understand each other, knowing that what they were going through mentally and physically was exactly the same as what we were going through mentally and physically. So being able to fall back on that person and communicate what you were thinking, how you were feeling, was really, really vital. It just made you feel a little bit less crazy, which was quite nice. And yeah, it's been really amazing to be able to support him in his Olympic journey. And obviously it was extremely successful for him as well. And to share that success was, it just felt really cool to be able to look back and be like, you know, that time that we said to each other that an Olympic medal has to come first, and then it happened.
Wow.
I mean, like, if you manifest something and you visualize it, it can come true.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with us. But yeah, he's been an amazing support person, you know, a massive rock for me to be able to just say, I'm feeling like this, am I insane? And just being like, no, and that's natural. So no, he's been incredible with the journey.
I don't want to talk out of place because, you know, but like, imagine if you two had offspring, if you guys had kids, and the pressures on those kids with Olympic gold medalists as your mum and dad. Shit, what do you do then? That's crazy. I don't want you to answer that. Okay, so
just pop up somewhere, from our last chat. He'll just pop up in the corner somewhere.
No, I'm not going to set you up like we set him up last. That's different. Now let's go to the Tokyo Olympics, because it's the third time, not third time lucky, because it was your third time going at it. Because the first time was 2016. You got there. I was there in a broadcaster role, but you were there, but you didn't get to wear the colors. You didn't even get to train with the team or stay with the team. And what happened there at the Olympics when you didn't make it? Because after that, shit, you just took off. 2017, 2018, you were just the best player in the world for women's sevens. Talk to me about what you learned and what changed.
Yeah, 2016 was easily the most disappointing point of my career. I trained for so long to be a part of that team. I moved away from my family to be a part of that team, and to come one short because of one person's opinion was a hard pill to swallow. And going to the Rio Olympics, I look back and I thought to myself, you know, physically, I think I was there. I definitely had the strength. I had the fitness. You know, my speed was probably not where it's at now, mainly because I was a strike prop back then. So I focused on gaining a little bit more weight, which probably wasn't ideal. But yeah, I look back and I'm like, physically I was there, but mentally, heck no, not even close. I was still one of those players who would come in a huddle with the team and I'd start crying because I was that nervous, or I'd felt sick, or I'd run onto the field feeling like I'd already played. That's how much I'd get all of this pressure and nerves straight to my head, and it just wasn't healthy. So mentally, I definitely wasn't there. And so afterwards, I had two options, I believe. I could have thrown the towel and said, nah, I don't want to be part of this team anymore. It's not healthy. I'm not happy. I'm not good enough. You know, instantly think negatively. Or I could have said, you know what, I'm going to put my head down, butt up, and prove some people wrong. And, you know, I chose the right way, I guess. I went and played some 15s for the Bay of Plenty Volcanics. I played 3 games and got 3 different injuries, but it was fun. And to go back into the environment where women who genuinely love playing rugby it was eye-opening, man. Like I hadn't trained at 7 p.m. since I was like 15 years old.
Yeah.
And so to go back to that humbled roots of, you know, either training early in the morning, going to work, and then training at night, cold. It's winter. It's a winter sport here, rugby in New Zealand. I forgot about that. It's freezing cold, but these women genuinely love it. They love the sport. They don't get paid to do it. And so to be in that environment, back to know, you know, people who don't play rugby for money, they play it for the love of it, was just incredible. I loved it. And so it just brought back that love and gratitude of the job that I have. I did some fitness training for Kelly with Kelly and Corey for about 3 months, and I died. Kelly, for those that are watching, is one of the workhorses of our team. She will just casually run a marathon any day of the week. But you had to do some fitness sessions with her. And then going into Dubai 2016, I wasn't contracted for 2017. So this was my last tournament where I could say, okay, this could be my last tournament playing for the black jersey. I need to prove myself. I need to just end it with a bang. And so going to Dubai, I just played freely. I had no expectations on myself. I just wanted to play like the rugby player that I feel was striving to be like, and that was to catch the ball, run fast, and score tries. And so from that tournament, I scored the most tries and then won player of the tournament. And it was just the moment for me where I was like, yeah, I can do this. Because I look back, there was another moment in 2014, which was my debut World Series year in Atlanta. And Gossie, my idol, will always be my idol. She went up on the field to receive this. It was either player of the tournament or player of the final or something. But anyway, she received this award. And I was looking at her and I was like, that will never be me. I just had no confidence in myself. I was 18 though. So I was still a kid.
Yeah. You're still a kid now at 25.
I'm still a kid now. Yeah. Of course. But yeah, I just instantly thought negatively. And then 2016, I just found this confidence in myself. I just finally started to blossom into this rugby player that I wanted to be like. And from there, it just kind of went up. The individual accolades, I wasn't striving for any of that. I just wanted to be a frequent player in the Sevens team. I wanted to go to all of the World Series tournaments. I wanted to be one of those players that could be relied on. And I guess the coach to look at me and be like, you need to play. You have to play. I wanted to be one of those players. The World Sevens Player of the Year, Blackfern Sevens Player of the Year, I'm proud of those, but I mean, for me, it's all about what our team has done in the space of 5 years, which is incredible. That's far more important to me.
It's amazing. So gratitude was a big part of that, and realizing why you played, but also realizing that it was your last chance to do something. But in terms of the nerves and how you mentally changed it from crying in the huddles to like, let's go in the huddles. What do you think the change was in that for you? Because there may be a lot of people at home now thinking, actually, that's me. How do I change that mindset?
Yeah, I definitely believe it was because I was overthinking. I'm still an overthinker, don't get me wrong. But in that environment, I just constantly worried about 10 million different things that I had to focus on. And then going to Dom and talking about that process of when we get to the stadium to kick off, I needed to simplify it big time. I had all these things that I wanted to tick off, and 10 of them weren't even important. And so I really tried to just simplify everything. And so from my journal writing, I just write 3 things: strike hard, work hard, tackle hard. And then when I'm in my physical prep, I'm just thinking about work hard, strike hard, tackle hard. And then when I'm doing my speed drills before warm-up, I'm just thinking to myself, work hard, strike hard, tackle hard. One of our opposition might walk past and I'll think to myself, I'm going to cut you in half and hurt you. But that's otherwise, I'm just constantly thinking 3 things and 3 things only. And then everything will just happen. It will just flow from there. I don't have to worry about what our warm-up is, like what consists of our warm-up, because we've done it for so long. And if I forget, I'll just follow one of the other girls. So I just really needed to break everything down to just simple little things. And it just helped me kind of relax a little bit, rather than thinking about, oh, I'm going to potentially have to play a whole game. I'm going to have to try and tackle one of the fastest girls in the USA rugby team. I'm feeling a little bit sore. I'm worried about that. It's just thinking about 3 little things. That
worry about what you can control. Right? I love that, like keeping it so simple. You know, when you think about high performance athletes, people go, oh, it's because they're so talented in this, and you do have some talent and everything else, but it's funny that when you became the best version of yourself, it's because you simplified shit and you believed in yourself, which was exceptional. Okay, so you finally kill it after 2 years, okay, because you changed your mindset, which was amazing. So you were going to go to the Olympics 2020. You were there, 5 years of age. You got that dream in your head you were going to go there, not for athletics, but it was for something else. But then you got a call from Alan Bunting saying it was not going to happen. Then your head after that, because like this, that was crushing. How did you deal with that? Because a lot of people will be feeling that way now, crushed with what's happening with the climate and COVID.
Yeah, if I'm going to be honest, I cried. I bawled my eyes out. Corey actually rang me later on the day that it was announced that the Olympics were postponed, and I just said to him, this is bullshit. Like, how could they do this? It's the biggest sporting event in the world, and they have the audacity to change it. I thought negatively and negatively only. You know, I wasn't even thinking about the fact that people were sick and dying. I was more so, I got to train for another 12 months. Like, I just instantly thought negatively. I could get injured. Other teams could get better. We may not play sevens for a very long time. We could lose our jobs. Like, I just constantly thought negatively for days on end. And so I contacted Dom, our mind guy, and I said to him, mate, am I crazy? Like, am I an idiot? Am I being ungrateful? And he was like, to be honest, Minnie, you're like the 10th person that I've had this conversation with. You're not alone. You're not the only one thinking like this. Because it was like a grieving process. You know, I obviously missed out on 2016. And so 4 years, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be at the Tokyo Olympic Games. And then it was taken away from me just like that. And adding another year onto that, it was just unrealistic in my head. But yeah, he just reminded me, use this as a way to kind of remember who you are outside of rugby, because I still struggle with that today. I don't look at myself as Michaela Blyde, sister, daughter, auntie.
Oh, wow.
As Michaela Blyde, the rugby player. And I still struggle with that today. And so he said to me, use this moment with this time with your family to remember who you are as a person, because take away rugby, which could potentially happen highly likely with COVID, who are you? What are you going to do? And so I just kind of used that for a few days. I just had to turn it into positive. So when I did go and train, it was, okay, but I'm doing this training now. The Olympics aren't happening, but 12 months down the track, I'm much fitter. I'm going to be way faster, and I'm going to be 10 times stronger than I am now. It took time, maybe like at least a few weeks, but I got there in the end. I ended up trying to play 15s for Bay of Plenty again, and I broke my jaw. I went through some other personal problems in 2020. So 2021 has been an absolute blessing. So thank you, the Olympics, for being postponed.
Yeah.
In the end, it was a great thing for me.
That's right. Like I'm a big fan of that. Things happen for a reason, and sometimes you've got to work harder or smarter to find that reason. Sometimes, you know, like you've got to make it, like every decision I've made in life, and sometimes at some stage of that life or that decision, it's the wrong decision. But I work increasingly harder, or I pivot a little bit more to turn it around to be the right decision in the end. So, I mean, that's great. For 25 years of age and getting better, I love that. Like Dom seems like an absolute legend in terms of the advice he's giving you, because, you know, if it works for Alan Bunting and from him in terms of a leadership point of view, looking after you, the person rather than playing, you can see how it's worked for you. And I benefit and love that as well. So how do you stay focused now after you've just competed in the pinnacle event? You've won it. How do you stay ambitious, stay motivated, or you're not even going to think about it just right now?
I always said to myself that for this leave, I was just going to completely focus on refreshing my body and my mind, because once we kick back into training in a few weeks' time, we're going to be near non-stop, because we've got Com Games next year in July, I think, maybe June. And then World Cup for sevens as well is in September. So we're going to be training for pretty much 12 months nonstop. And so this is the time where I'm just going to not bother with training, you know, because I don't want to turn up to pre-season with the mindset of I've been training, so I'm ready, I'm good to go. I want to be turning up to pre-season thinking I've had my time with family and friends.
Nice.
I've had my time with myself, with Michael. To just be able to connect back with the people that I care and love. And so then I turn up to pre-season with a refreshed mind and actually ready to go. Physically, you know, that will come. I'm not even worried about that right now. I've got so much time to be able to get back to where I want to be or need to be at to play sevens. So that's more important for me. To stay focused, I mean, I want to go back to back at Com Games. I want to go back to back at World Cup. And then I also want to go back to back in Paris 2024. So there is no way that I am losing any sort of motivation when you've got all those 3 pinnacle events coming up in the space of 2.5 years. So yeah, I've got a lot to look forward to in the next 3 years. So yeah, that's definitely motivating me still. I'm not even shying away from retirement or anything like that. I've got so much more that I want to do, and so much more development as a rugby player as well.
Yeah, development as a rugby player, development as a person, and you're already doing very well now at 25 years of age. The world's going to be your oyster. It's really exciting. Just to finish off, I want to know some of your non-negotiables, some of the things that make you Michaela Blyde and make you the absolute killer that you are.
Yeah, when you actually messaged me the other day about that, I was like thinking to myself, actually, what are my non-negotiables? Because there's so many things that I do,
Without realizing.
I don't realize it, and it's just one of those things where it's just natural for me to do. But yeah, I definitely pack my bag the night before. I hate waking up in the morning and feeling like I have to get organized. I'd rather wake up in the morning, be organized. So that's having my bag packed, having my lunch ready. Michael hates this, but I love baked beans. I have to have baked beans in the morning for breakfast with toast, avocado, maybe a bit of spinach. That really kicks off my day. If I don't have my baked beans, my day's probably going to be average. If I have to adapt and change, I'll work something out, but baked beans just really help. But the other massive thing for me is my mindset. I have to turn up to training with a good mindset. Otherwise, if I'm there half-hearted, then I train half-hearted, and then that's, high risk of injuries, putting the team in a vulnerable position as well. So for me, if I'm not turning up to training in a good headspace, then it's quite hard to come back from that. And so every night I write in my journal. I try and, pick out little things that happen in the day that either A, make me smile, or B, pissed me off. And so the next day I either continue that or change that.
Nice.
So that's a big thing for me as well when it comes to training. But otherwise, other than that, I need my sleep. Yeah. If I don't get my sleep, I'm grumpy. But yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't even really call them non-negotiables. They're just things that I do because of habits that I've developed over the years of being an athlete and a rugby player.
Yeah, I love that because, I used to say that to a lot of my players in our team when I was the captain of the Warriors. I was like, if you have a good game, what did you do in the build-up to that game? Have you jotted it down? Because whatever you did, don't change it. And you get to a point where that becomes your blueprint, so that you realize when you turn up to training, I turn up with the best possible mindset to kick ass in training, and it's, and it's really evolved. You've got players helping you, which is really exciting. Okay, for us, your favorite quote to finish with and why?
Nothing worth having comes easy. The reason that's my favorite, I come from a dairy farming family. My parents have been dairy farmers my dad since he was walking, because his family were dairy farmers. And then mum became a dairy farmer after meeting dad. So for those that don't understand the farming world, dairy farmers do not have days off. They work every day, rain, hail, shine. They don't get Sundays off. They don't get birthdays off. They don't get Christmas off. No matter what day of the year it is, there is some sort of work to do on the farm. And so when I look at hard work, I look at my parents. They epitomize what it means to put food on the table, to have a roof over your kid's head, to have clothes on our back, and that's simply because they work hard every single day for us to have those opportunities. We never struggled with being able to get to sport trainings or having boots on our feet, because of my parents. And so I just, from their habits, it becomes my habit as well to work hard to get to where I want to be. Plus using your manners. If you don't use your please and thank yous, you're trying to get like that. So use your manners. That gets you far in life, kids. So yeah, working hard and using your manners, massive, massive values of my life. Because I've genuinely worked, I've got no secret. I've genuinely worked hard to get to where I am now. There's no secret little potion. There's no secret little tip. It was just simply that I turned up to training and I worked my butt off. And that's just helped me get to where I want to be and still got places to go.
Love it, love it. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree. You're a credit to your parents. This country loves you and your sisters and what you do. So inspiring watching your journey, and even just talking to you and knowing what you've come from and what you have achieved and what you're still going to achieve. I think it's going to be you and your man there, Michael Break, going for the next Olympics and doing some wonderful things. So Michaela, Blyde, thank you so much for your time, and everyone else out there. I hope you really enjoyed that. Some wonderful takeaways, and let people know about it. Thank you for tuning in now and joining us on this Real Talk.
Thanks, Monty. Thanks, guys.